Dick said I grew up on a farm. I did, and so I feel right at home here on the fairgrounds. Even though I may not be dressed the part, I grew up going to being involved in 4-H and FFA and going to the county fair in Adams County. As a matter of fact, I just got through last year serving 9 years to three-year terms on the Adams County Fair Board. I love the fair. I love agriculture. Again, grew up on the farm. My mother and father raised 9 kids on the farm. It was a grain and livestock farm there in rural Adams County. And it was quite a life. I had 6 brothers, one of which I'd just like to say, I appreciate the opportunity to stand in his honor tonight. I lost a brother in Vietnam in 1970, and he still remains in my heart at all times, and I appreciate the opportunity to stand on his behalf here tonight. So thank you for that opportunity. My mother and father, my mother graduated from 8th grade. That was her last education, because that would have been around 1929, 1930, and things weren't so good, and she needed to get to work, and she needed to help her family. My father, we don't think, ever did graduate from 8th grade. He finished 7th grade. And never at any time did my mother or father say to me, Randy, when you grow up, you can be anything you want to be in this nation. What they said was, if you get a good education, and if you work hard, you can be anything you want to be. Does anybody see the difference? That's the kind of spirit that I want to instill my wife and I do. My wife and I have been married 29. Next year we'll be celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary, and we've raised 3 daughters, and that's the way I want to raise them. So that's probably enough about me and where I came from. Let me tell you a little bit about me and about what I stand for as a candidate for the Illinois State Senate. I've come out over the last month with a series of initiatives that I'd like to see change. One thing is transparency in government. I'd like to shine the light on some of the work that goes on in Springfield, Illinois. My opponent, on the other hand, has voted several times to not shine that light, but to eliminate your opportunity to file Freedom of Information requests to actually find out what's going on. I think that's wrong, and I stand opposed to that. As far as legislative pensions, I don't think there should be one. I don't think a state senator or a House of Representative member should get a pension, and I will not participate in the pension program. I've come out strongly for term limits. I currently think if you'd have told me 10 years ago that I would run for a countywide office, I would have told you you're crazy. I was involved in a retail business. My wife and I ran for 20 years. It was a wonderful experience, and I was really wrapped up in it. My chairman of the party came to me and said, there's an open seat for the circuit clerk's job. We think you're the right man. Would you run for it? I checked it out, and I did, and I'm glad I did. It's been wonderful to serve at the county level. But I told him I'd do it for 2 terms. This is the end of my 2nd term, and I'm moving on. I'm running for the state senate. And if I'm so fortunate to be elected to the state senate, I will limit myself to 10 years term in the state senate, and then we move on. We don't need to make it a professional career for politicians. And last but not least, I had something to say about the pay. My opponent has been in and served 10 years. Now he's going for 14. I don't know where he stands on term limits, but I think I kind of know. But his pay has risen $25,000 a year over the 10 years that he's served. When he started at $57,000, he now makes over $82,000. I have said, I declare we need to freeze all pay and benefits for these legislators until they get this mess fixed up. They go over there and they spend your hard-earned tax dollars like it's just going out of style, like they must have a tree growing out back that they just pick it off of to spend. And then when they spend so much and they outspent what you send over in tax dollars, they want to go borrow. They want to borrow to spend more. And what's the borrowing costing us? More and more each and every day, more than any other state, because we have the worst bond rating of all 50 states in this nation. We need to get this thing straightened out. Our leaders are leading us astray, and we need someone over there who is willing to go to work, do the job of the people, and not stay there and draw some fat cat pension and big salary for the rest of their lives. Okay, enough about me. You're actually here to hear someone who is very, very important to this group because of his wonderful stance on reform for all the things that are wrong with the state of Illinois. Adam Andrzejewski, as I have said, I'm the youngest of 9. I believe Adam's the oldest of 7. Is that not right? We've raised 3 daughters. I believe you have 3 daughters as well. We have a lot in common here. A lot in common. Now, I understand you play a pretty mean fiddle, but you'd rather call it a violin, so maybe with a little enticement, we get him up and do that. I don't want to put you on the spot. But Adam's a wonderful, wonderful person. Grew up and around the Herscher, Illinois area. Currently resides with his wife and 3 children in Hinsdale, Illinois. He is a solid conservative voice, and he does stand for reform for all the things that are wrong with the state. So I'd like to invite my good friend up, Adam Andrzejewski.